Unspoken Truth podcast. I'm your host, Denise. We gonna jump back into a conversation we was having a few weeks ago about human, child, and sex trafficking. I know that's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but if we don't discuss it, then how do we come up with solutions? So I'm gonna briefly go over some of the stuff that I talked about on that last episode, and what I intend on touching bases on with this episode. We definitely gonna discuss resources, things we could do as adults, parents, so forth. So on my last episode, we talked about how many people are human and sex trafficking over a 12-month period in the U.S., and that's 5.2 million. We touch bases on different entities, organizations that participate in the human sex trafficking issue that we have in this country. I also talked about different things that we could do to try to combat this issue and figure out how we can put an end to it. Tonight I'm just going to talk about ways we, like I said, we can combat the daily sex, human, child trafficking issue that we having. For starters, I feel like we got to talk to our kids. We not talking to them enough. They need to be monitored. For starters, a lot of these social media platforms and websites and apps that they have out here, the age limit is too young. It need to be increased. It need to go up. I mean, a lot of these apps, I'm not sure if y'all familiar, but a lot of these apps are 11 years old. The youngest that you could create a profile. That's absolutely insane. Emails. We got to figure out how to tap into what they got going on. If you see your kids like isolating themselves, possibly like just happy in a good mood about certain things, excited about a text or a certain conversation they may be having with somebody, you need to figure out who they talking to. These kids out here is talking to who they believe is somebody they age, and these are pedophiles and sexual predators and rapists. You know, we got to do better as far as knowing what they doing and who they doing it with. I got asked from the last episode, what is it that we could do as people to combat this issue and protect and save our kids. And I had something to say, but I needed time to process and think before I gave the wrong answer to the question that was being asked. But it was more so like, well, what can we do? I know what's going on, but what can we do? And, you know, I told this person, I said, well, shoot, if we, the people who vote these people into certain positions or play a significant role in them having a certain job or a certain title, then we have the same rights and abilities to get them out of that seat, to remove them from that responsibility if they not doing what they signed up to do, if they not doing what they said they was going to do, if they had a vision that they talked to the people about and that's not what's occurring. I mean, it's ways to go about that. Petitions. You know, we can always petition our local, state, and federal levels as far as law and legislation. It's also organizations out here, but let's be clear. I don't want nobody to be saying, hey, wait, she's saying certain things. But the things that I'm saying is been proven. You know, a lot of people is scared to say certain things. I'm not scared. You know, there are organizations out here that specifically cater to this particular issue. Okay. One in particular, the National Exploited and Missing Children's website and foundation. is a great resource. But again, I challenge everybody to do their homework, figure out why this organization was created and if they really doing what they said they was gonna do, because it's a lot of entities out here that's claiming to be for one thing, but if you do the homework on this particular organization or business, you'll see that a lot of people are not following through with the mission or the business plan that they created when they started their business. um, Things to look for. um, Again, I started this talk out with talking about we need to talk to our kids, having conversations with them about different scenarios. Hey, if you was at the park and something didn't seem right, what would you do? You know, those type of things will help keep your child head on the swivel, where they constantly thinking about the what ifs. I know that that's a lot of pressure, but this is the lifestyle and livelihood that we living in right now. It's not the same as it was when I was growing up, where we could send our kids outside to play and not really worry about if something is gonna happen. um, Unfortunately, that's just not the case no more. Do background checks. I'm me personally, I had to learn this the hard way. Do background checks. It's not illegal to do background checks on people and find out what exactly it is they got going on before you met them, especially if you dating and you got kids. Meeting new people. Do a background check. Family members, hey, if you think something is going on or something weird about them, do a background check. It's nothing wrong with that. In the end, you protecting yourself, you protecting your kids. I don't think that is nothing wrong with that. Um, Me personally, a lot of people may not agree with this, but I'm at a place now. My kids are much older, so we are having conversations about bearing arms. And I watch a lot of different ethnic backgrounds teach their kids to bear arms. I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that it's it's a necessity. It should happen for you to be able to protect your person, protect your home, protect the people in it. Um, Listen to your kids. I know that I struggled a lot with this when my kids was younger, be just for the simple fact that I was going through a lot of stuff. I had a lot of trauma and different issues from my childhood that I was going through that caused me, I believe, to be numb to certain conversations that should have happened a long time ago. Um, parents, man, stop dropping your kids off different places and leaving them without no supervision, without nobody knowing what's going on. Stop doing that. People like prey on that. They look for people who are essentially irresponsible with their parenting of their kids. I'm guilty of it. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm not beating nobody up about it, but I'm guilty of it. I've done it. We got to do better. It's nothing wrong with us spending time with our kids. It's nothing wrong with us doing activities and stuff with them. I believe that that bridges the gap and make the bond stronger when you choose to spend that time with your kids versus pushing them off on other people and making it their responsibility. Everybody can't be trusted. Let's just be clear. Um, I really wanted to try to see if I could share a video. I'm not really sure how to do it, but I'm going to try. About learning the sign language, stuff that you could do. I feel like screaming and being loud, drawing attention to the situation, it's not as effective as if you had a sign language that you could use. So if I'm not able to share that during this live, I'll make sure that I leave a link for you guys in the comment section of the video when I post it on my page. Um, my cousin said something that I thought was extremely important. She talked about creating a code word with your kids that only you and them know. so that if something is going on or they in an uncomfortable situation, only y'all know that word. So that's helpful. I truly believe that that's helpful with getting your kids out of a dangerous situation. Um, let's let's start having those hard conversations with our kids early so that we can help them understand what protection look like, what love look like, um, what bad stuff they should be on the lookout for. Because I mentioned in the last episode about us being told stranger danger when we was kids, and what that kind of translate to now with the world and how it's going. I don't believe that that's very effective anymore, because it's been proven that 75% of the time that these people are being, or these kids are being violated, or people are being violated, most of the predators are people that they know. So I don't believe that the stranger danger stuff is effective, because most times it's people that they know. So now, how do I apply stranger danger to somebody that I know? Maybe it's a family member or a friend of the family or something like that. That's not effective. I think that we need to teach our kids more about strange behaviors. Um, that way, they know the difference between a healthy behavior and an unhealthy behavior. I think that's critical, especially with younger kids, for them to be able to be taught the difference. A lot of these kids are extremely smart. They know a lot more than we give them credit for, so I don't think that that's too heavy of a subject to kind of help them navigate with things, especially if they school age, because it's just so much going on. Daycare, schools, we seeing a lot of stuff with these teachers, sleeping with the students, staff members, stuff like that. People's parents. Um, I don't want to leave nobody out and make it seem like I'm just honing on one particular group of people, because I'm not. I'm just specifically using those as an example to say how widespread of an issue this is. I'm not sure if anybody had a chance to check out the videos that I've been sharing on my story, but I mean, this is a huge issue across the board. This is not just here where I live. I believe across all 50 states, somebody is having to deal with this issue. The video, if you did not get a chance to check it out, it was a reenactment of a child being kidnapped in broad daylight. And people was just watching the man just grab the little boy up, put his hand over his mouth, and walk down a little cut off of this main street and just disappeared. And I didn't see not one person stop to acknowledge what was going on in front of them. And we just got to do better. We got to stop thinking that if we being nosy because we say something about something we see. We don't have no control about what go on in front of us. If it look like it's wrong, it's probably wrong. If it don't look right, something may be going on. I would rather take the risk of saying something than to possibly not say something and that person or that child end up missing, or God forbid killed, or trafficked. I'm seeing a lot of stories where it's kids that then went missing from different states and they ended up somewhere else. I'm not 100% sure about this state that this particular little boy that I'm talking about was in, but he had been missing for some years, I believe. And come to find out, he was with his grandfather in a whole nother state, 1,000+ miles from where he originally from. You just don't know, man. We need to be more vigilant and protect our kids, man. If they the future, then we have to, man. They need to know that it's okay for them to talk to us about stuff that's don't feel right or that's not right. Um, we need to create a space in the environment that makes them comfortable to share. I feel like we definitely long away from sitting down at the table and eating dinner together, but maybe that's something we need to implement back into our households. Um, we have to become creative at finding out what it is our kids enjoy doing, what makes them happy, and provide the support that nourishes whatever that is. Um, it was something else I had wanted to talk about. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I have not really spoken too much about what my next plans are as far as business ventures, but I definitely want to. This particular subject is important to me, just because of what I, discussed in the last episode about having a family member pass away and having to figure out how to help her children. And so I wanted to personally start a nonprofit organization that caters to some of these kids, these displaced children, whether their parents are in prison, deceased, maybe they have mental issues, maybe they on drugs, whatever it is, to make sure that I create some type of legacy and footprint for my community, for my kids, for my future grandkids, to continue to utilize my voice, my resources, my wisdom to add something to this life versus taking away. This is not something that's going to be easy to do because it's just about on every single level in life we dealing with the same thing across the board. These kids are not safe. They not. I want to say that CPS, I watched something that I thought was extremely important to share. In certain states, they are allowing CPS to show up without proper paperwork to remove children, even if it's been proven that they're not being neglected. So I just want everybody to understand, it's a lot of different entities that's playing a role in the danger of our kids and whether or not they well-being or their best interest is being put first. We clearly can see that that's not what's happening. Some of these kids, I worked in the school system, so I kind of can speak to both sides of it, from a parent and definitely from working with other people's kids. That a lot of these kids is not getting the bare necessities at home. They not getting the nurturing. They not getting the patience. They not getting the time spent. They not getting the love. They not getting loved on. And that definitely creates a pattern of negative behavior, just them feeling inadequate and not feeling like they loved. I definitely believe is a key component to a lot of the things that these kids is doing on social media and the internet, because they feel like they can't talk to their parents or talk to nobody in their family for fear that they'll be outed about what they talking about. But these kids know a lot. They do. They know more than I thought they knew at a younger age than I thought they would be on. um, we just simply have to just do better as adults, as parents. I believe that if we can get some unity in our neighborhoods and put neighbor back in neighborhoods and start looking out for each other again, that will help us keep an eye out on our kids. Um, I'm not, I will say, as a young parent, I used to have an attitude with people wanting to, wanting to discipline my kids. But I believe that was because I was immature. I didn't really have the right mindset to realize like they was just looking out for my kids because they knew that I wasn't around at that moment to do anything about whatever it is they was doing. Um, don't be that way with people. I'm gonna say that it take a village. You not gonna be able to be everywhere at all times. You're not gonna be able to know what's going on, what they doing, who they doing it with at all times. So I suggest and I recommend that you allow some people to help you. It took me a long time to realize that it's okay to get help. It's okay to let somebody help you. It's okay for somebody to look out for you and your kids. Um, but use your sense of discernment with that decision on whoever it is that you allowing to speak life over your kids, because that's important too. A lot of people allow any and everybody into their space, um, and get close to their kids. I'm definitely guilty for that, but you live and you learn. Um, I can say that situation didn't amount to anything, but it could have. And so it just made me be more aware. It just made me start realizing like what's really at stake, because most people don't really care until it's their family member or one of their kids or somebody they know, and then it's a sense of compassion, it's a sense of urgency, it's a sense of what can I do, in this situation. But it shouldn't take for it to be somebody you know. It shouldn't take for it to be your child. It shouldn't take for it to get to that point before you start advocating for these kids, because somebody got to do it. They not gonna be able to speak for themselves. Although a lot of them do have a voice, we as parents, we done said you too young. You don't have no voice. Your opinion don't matter, and that's not true. And what we doing is we belittling our children and making them feel less than, so then they don't even want to talk to us about nothing that's going on. We got to do better. Ask them how their day was. Ask them about their friends. Ask them about different activities and stuff that they be doing that you're not present or privy to. Maybe it's something in school, a school activity, a sport or something, whatever. But make sure you talking to your kids. They deserve to be heard. I think that's the most important lesson that I've learned as a mother, is to allow my kids to speak their piece and not shun them about whatever it is they have to say. Because I realized, like, when I wasn't doing that, my kids was sharing with everybody. And everybody don't have your kids' best interests at heart. I had to learn that the hard way, too. Some people engage and create a relationship with your kids just so they could do something to them because they don't respect and like you. So you definitely got to be careful. It's a lot more to it than it was when I was coming up. We just need to all start being more aware. start watching, start speaking, start discussing. Um, Teach our kids what snitching really is. Because these kids, they don't know. Like, if somebody is doing something wrong to you, how is that snitching? For you to speak about it, for you to tell. I don't, I never understood that. But to each his own. I'm not telling nobody how to parent. I'm just giving suggestions. Um, I definitely don't want to, like, end, you know, discussing this particular topic. I believe that I'm going to create a lot of more videos, reels about this particular topic. I want you guys to just keep logging in, keep showing up for me. We're going to keep discussing different topics that's going to cause us to be a critical thinker and be more conscious and aware of what's around and what's happening. Not what people want us to think, but what we actually see with our own eyes. Um, this is only the beginning. I'm just started. I know this episode is not as long as the first one, but I feel like I'm going to just leave it right here. I want to hear back from you if you got any comments, any suggestions, any resources. If you participating in anything in the communities where you live that could be utilized for our youth, make sure you leave that in the comment section once I post the video. And I just want to tell y'all that I love y'all, regardless to if anybody told you today. Um, Keep yourself covered. Um, Make sure that you taking care of home, because that's first and foremost. Love on your kids. Let them love on you. Stop looking for somewhere to go because you don't want to be bothered. I did it for a long time. It's unhealthy. Protect your kids. Love on your kids. I love y'all. Make sure y'all stay tuned for future episodes.